The time has come. After creating a killer resume and cover letter and passing the first round, it is time to face the final challenge, your job interview. And that scares even the best of us. You have heard the interviewers say there are no right or wrong answers to calm you down before an interview. But here's the thing. They are almost always looking for a specific way of answering. Which brings us to this guide. We're going to cover the most common interview questions and answers, turning you into a bona fide interview expert by the time you're done with this video. So let's begin with our first question. Tell me something about yourself. This is a must-ask question by any interviewer. How hard can it be to talk about yourself? We do it on a daily basis without much thought to it. However, recruitment managers are not looking for your whole life story. Instead, they are looking for a pitch. This is usually the first question asked in an interview, so it acts as your introduction. Make sure your answer is relevant to the position you are applying for. You should aim to present yourself as the ideal candidate for the job. A good rule of thumb is to structure your talking points as follows. Briefly introduce yourself. That's your name. How long have you been working, for example, as an accountant, engineer, etc.? Secondly, what do you love about your job? And lastly, what are your top 2-3 achievements that are relevant to the job you're applying for? Now, let us see how you can respond. Well, my name is Arsalan, and I have worked as a business analyst for 5+ years in Company X and Company Y. I have strong background in data analysis, having studied information systems at ABC University. Throughout my career, I have done some impressive tasks. For instance, at Company X, I led a project for migrating all operations data to a new data warehousing system to cut down on costs. The new solution was a much better fit for our business, which eventually led to savings of up to $500,000 annually. Here, you have given a brief intro of yourself along with your achievements and practically impressing your future boss. Moving on to question 2. It is also one of the most commonly asked questions. How did you hear about this position? Although at first glance this might seem like a straightforward question, but you can grab an opportunity to show your interest in the company. Even if you have not been continuously refreshing the company's website for job listings, make it seem like you have. Show excitement and curiosity. If someone inside the company told you about the position or recommended that you apply, definitely make sure to mention that. You will have a much better chance at being hired if someone credible can vouch for your skills. So, mention his or her name and position inside the company and give their reasoning for recommending you to apply for the position. Tell the hiring managers what excites you about the job opportunity. You may respond by saying, "I have known about your organization for a long time and a big fan of your products. I even own one of your latest phone models. I love the company's passion for creating super intuitive, beautiful hardware, and I would love to be a part of it. So, when I saw this job opening on social media, even though I wasn't actively looking for a job, I couldn't help but apply." So it shows that you are actively following the company, creating the feeling of bonding with the to-be employer. Question number 3. Why did you decide to apply for this position? No. The answer isn't, "Well, I needed the money and you guys tend to pay a lot." What the interviewer is looking for here is to see how passionate you are about the job or the company. After all, job performance is directly linked to job satisfaction. The happier you are about your position, the more productive you will be. When you are talking to a person who is passionate about something, you can pretty much feel them glow as they talk. If you are an HR manager who has interviewed hundreds of people, this is a very good sign to hire the candidate. So, use this knowledge to your advantage. When asked this question, incorporate these 2 things in your answer. 1. What motivated you to apply for this position? And 2. Why applying in this company? Therefore, we may respond by answering, "I have always wanted to get into marketing. Having done promotional jobs and looking for opportunity to do something on the larger scale, which your organization offers, I can immediately get going as I have the right mix of skills that includes copywriting, do advanced Photoshop, and of course lots of creativity. So I thought that this position would turn out to be an awesome addition to my career in marketing." Now, answering like this, you have done a wonderful job in creating the perfect mix of passion for the position, what the new organization has to offer, and the skill set that would make you excel in your new role. This brings us to our question number 4. What are your biggest strengths? For this question, you would want to narrow down your answer to the max of 3 strengths. Pick 1 or 2 skills that would help you really excel at the job and 1 or 2 more or less unrelated skills. After picking your strengths, make sure that you back it up with a situation or story that shows how these skills helped you on the job. As you probably already know, This is one of the most common interview questions out there, so make sure you're well prepared for it before facing the HR manager. You may respond by saying, "My biggest strength is that I am very efficient at working under pressure. No matter the crisis or stress, I can make the right decisions on the spot." As an event manager at Company X, we were organizing an IT conference for a client. There were a ton of last-minute hiccups, some speakers cancelled, and the catering company said they would be late for the lunch break. On top of that, we were understaffed because 2 of our volunteers got sick and couldn't show up. At that point, things looked so bleak that we were considering cancelling the event or postponing it. Instead, I took the initiative in my hands and sorted through the problems one by one. Here, you have indicated by telling a brief story that you are good at handling tough situations and how you solved it. We move on to our next question. Question number 5. And that is, what is your biggest weakness? This is always a tricky one. After all, you don't want to mention your flaws during an interview, so it's guaranteed to be a tough question. The trick to answering this one is realizing that the interviewers do not expect you to be perfect. Everyone has flaws, weaknesses, and things to improve on. When asking this question, the HR manager is actually seeking to learn whether you have the right skills for the job. If you are applying for the position of a server in a busy restaurant and you say your biggest weakness is performing under pressure, then you are definitely not getting a callback. And no, fake humble brag weaknesses does not count as weaknesses. You cannot just say that your biggest weakness is that you work too hard or you are a perfectionist. The key here is to mention a weakness that is real, but not something that would get in the way of you doing your job. You would not want to say you're bad at math if you are applying for an accountant position, would you? It is good practice to mention how you are working towards overcoming this weakness and realizing how it affects you negatively. If you can, just balance it with a positive side effect. Treat it like 2 sides of the same coin. If you are a fresher, you may say, "Well, as a recent graduate, I would say my biggest weakness is the lack of real-life work experience. While I have worked on a dozen software projects in the university, I do not have the experience of working in a fully agile environment with an experienced team. However, if given an opportunity, I am confident to catch up fast with exceeding expectations." Here, though you have stated a weakness, but being a fresher is not a weakness in itself. Everyone at some stage in their life is a beginner, and at the same time, you have confidently assured the interviewer of your abilities. This brings us to question number 6. What do you know about this organization? A quick search in the About page of the organization you are applying for should be enough, right? Well, that is a yes and a no. Think of this as an open-ended question. There is no real wrong answer here. However, if you are planning to say, "I do not know anything about this organization," please do not say so. The more you know about the company, the better your chances of being hired. Imagine 2 equally competent candidates. One who doesn't particularly care much about your company and is only applying because they know you pay good salaries. And another one who's been following your company blogs, is acquainted with company's work ethics, and loves your product. As an hiring manager, which one would you pick? Exactly, the second one. So with this question, you want to convince the recruiter that you're the candidate number 2. Now, the question is that how do you do that? Well, a rule of thumb is to do some Googling before the interview and learn the following about the company. What product or service do they offer? Information on company's culture, latest news about the company, how are they performing? And pretty much whatever other type of info you can dig up. For answering this question, we may say, "Well, I know that you are one of the biggest investment banks in City. Your bank is often in news, and I have read that you have invested in some of the hottest tech IPOs and have several upcoming biotech companies in your portfolio. I got particularly interested by your recent investment in a startup X. I found that interesting because it would give company diversified dimension and much to learn and grow as a professional." Another common question on the hiring manager's list is, "Why should we hire you?" This question, number 7, is an ultimate humble brag question. Now the real question is, how do you sell yourself without trying to look arrogant, desperate, or needy? A good rule of thumb here is to stay away from the extremes. Think you are a good fit for the job? Say that you have the right experience. Whatever you do, do not oversell yourself by saying, "I'm the best salesman you've ever met." Instead, make a general statement. "I am a great fit for the position because," and then talk about your experiences and achievements. Here are 3 general points to consider while answering. 1. How and why you are super passionate about working for the company. 2. How your skills fit their requirements. 3. How you are going to help the company solve their existing problems, improve a metric, set up a process, etc. In response, you may say, I have all the skills and work experience required for the job. I've worked as a sales manager for 5+ years, and over the past 2, I've closed several deals totaling in 6 figures. And on top of that, I have experience working with tech companies, so I'll be able to pick up all the product specifics much faster than the other candidates. Every recruiter knows high cost of trainings, and here you have given the solid reason for selection by saying that you have industry-specific experience, which means that you need little or no training to make you get going. Once things start to move towards closing, the interviewer moves towards asking, what are your salary requirements? This question number 8 is always a tricky question. You do not want to lowball yourself, but at the same time, you do not want to be told no because you gave such an outrageous number. When answering, keep these 3 things in mind. What is the average salary for someone of your skill level? How much does the company pay employees of your skill level? Websites such as Glassdoor should be super helpful here. Finally, how much you are being paid in your current company. In most cases, you can probably negotiate a pay jump from what you are currently getting. The final number you quote should incorporate all 3 points. Either you may tell the figure that you want to hover around, or you may answer with a range, and chances are, they'll pick the number somewhere in the middle. For instance, as an answer you can say, my salary expectation is around $70,000 annually. Or if you want to test your luck, you may say, my salary requirement is in the range of $70,000 to $80,000 annually. Why not give recruiter a chance to think? Question number 9. Do you have any questions for us? You will hear this question nearly in every interview you will attend. With this question, you want to show your enthusiasm about the company. Imagine they have already hired you, and you are starting tomorrow. What would you like to know about them? Keep in mind that the questions should not be too easy, such as what does your company do? This is your opportunity to really find out more about the ins and outs of the place. The answers you get from the interviewer could also be an indicator of whether you really want to work there or not. So, for instance, you may ask the interviewer, 1. What would be the biggest challenges a person might face in this position? Or you may ask 2. What are the most important skills and qualities one must have to succeed in this position? Or if you want to dig deeper about the company, then you may ask 3. What are the most pressing issues and projects that need to be addressed? This brings us to the last question in the list of most common questions. Number 10. What are you looking for in a new position? The easiest way to answer this question would be to simply say that you are looking for whatever the company is offering. However, look at it from the point of view of the potential employer. Would they hire someone if they answered this question with a good salary? Well, that's about it. This answer pretty much says that the moment they get a higher paying offer, they are going to jump ship. Instead, explain to the interviewer that this job at this company is the perfect fit for you. Mention what your short-term and long-term career goals are and how this position ties to them. Sample answer. I'm looking to further apply my machine learning skills that I developed during my 2 years of work at Startup X. There, I used to do programmatic ads model design. Now, I'm looking for an opportunity to work on a larger scale project that involves setting up programmatic ads for audiences of more than 10 million people. I believe that working on such large-scale project will allow me to progress significantly faster in my career. So with that question, we wrap it up. If you have come this far, show your support by clicking like, and of course do not forget to subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching. See you soon in upcoming video.